Hey everyone, it's Stephanie here, and today's video shares my February 2015 paper doll layout. And for this month, I decided to base my layout on a quote that I liked from the movie Pretty Woman. That's kind of what I'm doing with my layouts each month, is I'm kind of picking a quote from a favorite movie, or maybe down the road I'll pick a TV show. I'm not really sure, but so far it's been movies. And I really loved the new Man Adam doll and the Jill doll from Julie Nutting. These are the newest paper doll stamps that just came out, and I thought that they worked perfectly for February. I wanted to use a man and a woman on my layout, and for some reason that girl really reminded me of Julia Roberts from Pretty Woman, and that's one of my favorite movies, so I decided to base this month's layout on that movie. So I'm just going ahead and stamping my dolls and my clothes. And one thing new with the dolls with this release is that there is a doll, a male doll and a female doll that have some coordinating clothes that you can use that aren't actually part of the doll stamp. You buy them separately. So for this Adam doll, I'm using the suit that comes with it, and I've stamped that onto some Echo Park pattern paper from a 6x6 paper pad. Some of the paper that I'm using is new, not new, but still available, and some of the paper might not still be available. I just kind of pull from my stash. I have a lot of 6x6 paper pads that I've collected over the years, and this is a great way to use up those papers because I have a ton of them, and it's perfect to use for these dolls because they fit perfectly on there for their clothes and such, and then you can use up those papers. So I apologize if some of the papers that I use aren't available at this time, but you can definitely just kind of base your layout off of papers that are available that look kind of similar. So there's still lots of options for what you can use. So I'm just going ahead and coloring my dolls here. You can see I stamped them both onto text pattern paper. This is a trick that I got from one of my friends, Nicole. She does these paper doll layouts as well, and she's always stamped her dolls onto text paper, and I really like the look that it gives, mainly because they don't have faces or anything, so it just kind of gives their skin some texture since they don't have any other distinguishing features. So I just stamped them both onto this text paper, and I colored in their skin, and now I'm going ahead and coloring in her hair. And because I'm basing it off of the movie, I am giving her red hair, just because Julie Roberts has red hair in the movie. And I've never colored red hair before, so this is a first time for me. So I don't know if it turned out exactly how I envisioned it would, but it's fine. The end result seems to work okay. In the photographs, once I finished the layout, the hair ended up actually looking a little bit orange more so than red, but I think it worked for what I was trying to achieve. So I'm just going ahead and coloring her hair here. And like I said, I've already colored both of their skin. And I went ahead and stamped all of the pieces of their clothing. You can see those laying beside me in the image here. I stamped them all onto the pattern papers that I wanted to use, and then I cut them out with my scissors. And I always like to take a black pen after I cut out the pieces that I'm going to be using and just kind of run it along the edge. It just takes out the white core of the pattern paper and makes it look fully finished and like the image has a complete back or a complete black outline on it. So I always trace everything with black marker once I've cut it out. So now I have her hair finished there, and I'm just going to go ahead and start to piece all of the clothing onto the dolls. So I'm using a glue pen here and just kind of grabbing the pieces as I go and layering them on top of one another. I tried to make the outfits kind of similar to what was in the movie, so I kind of based her outfit off of what she was wearing when she first met Richard Gere in the movie, and then of course her famous black boots that she wears. So I went ahead and just stamped those on some black chalkboard paper, actually from a My Mind's Eye paper pad, and I cut those out and adhered them on. And now I'm adding his suit onto him. So for this here, the suit's a little bit big for him, so it looks a little bit loose on him, but I think it still works pretty well. I like how you can kind of stamp him and then put some clothes on top of him, so I kind of hope that down the road they come out with more options for these dolls. But for this one here anyway, I went ahead and stamped the suit, and I stamped the jacket twice so that I could cut out the pockets and the cuffs and the collar and everything. And I cut them out a second time and layered them on top of the first piece just so for some added dimension and to make it look more realistic. I also cut out the shirt and the tie from separate colors and then just paper pieced them all together. And then I realized once I had him fully assembled that I had forgotten to color his hair. So I went ahead and colored his hair with some cool gray colors. I started with a lighter color and then worked my way into a darker color, but still left some of the light showing through to kind of give him that grayish, blackish hair color that Richard Gere has in the movie. So now you can see I have them completely paper pieced and I went ahead and cut them out. So now I'm going to go ahead and start to adhere my background. So I decided to use this pattern paper from October Afternoon. This is an older 8x8 paper pad that I've had for quite some time, and I wanted to have my layout kind of a night theme just because in the movie they originally met at night and her profession is technically at night when she meets him. So I decided to use that night sky background, but because it was so dark and I didn't want them to blend into the background, I used a piece of vellum and layered that on top of the center area of the background. And then I went ahead and added my quote from the movie onto some pattern paper, which is, in case I forgot to tell you later, I had a really good time tonight. It's one of my favorite quotes from the movie. So I printed that onto the pattern paper on the bottom, and then I went ahead and also cut out a ladder to put kind of behind where he's standing, and that's just kind of signifying the fire escape at the very end of the movie. So I adhered that on first and then adhered him against it so it looks like he's kind of leaning on it, and then I put her in front of him and kind of had her be the focal point of the layout, just because I just kind of like how she turned out and I really wanted her to be the center stage part of the layout. Then I took a black Wink of Stella marker and colored in her boots and her belt so that they have a really nice kind of sparkly shine to them. And then I took some cool gray Copic markers and added a little bit of shading to their clothes just so that they kind of look a little bit more dimensional and not so flat. And then once I have that finished, I'm going to add a little bit more detail to the layout, just to kind of add a couple more things. I also added some jewelry to her. You can see that she has a necklace on as well as a bracelet, and that is another new product from Julie Nutting that's just come out, and it's the Sade and Crystals. They come in a few different colors. There's black, clear, white, and gold, I believe, and they are awesome. I love them. They're just bracelets and necklaces and different things that you can add to your paper dolls, so I love that they fit perfectly and you can have a few different options and colors. So now that I have that all finished, I'm just going ahead and adding glossy accents to her boots to make them look like the shiny leather that they are in the movie, and then that kind of completes the layout. I added a couple of hearts and I also added some sequins to the background just for some added detail. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next month with a new paper doll layout.